Hey, Lance again, out here working on the old Mega Max 212. So my last video, I put the tires on and the steering column, and this video I'm hoping to get the motor on. So I believe everything's ready. I just got to throw the motor on, hook up the torque converter, which I've never done. Hopefully I can figure that out. And this bike will be ready to go. So stick with me, let's put this motor on. Okay, motor is in place. There are 4 bolts that hold it in place. The holes in the panel are already pre-drilled, so I just had to line them up and put the bolt in, add the nut on the bottom. It takes a 12 wrench on the nut and a 10 millimeter on the bolt. Next piece, the torque converter. All right, now that I have the motor mounted and ready to go, it's time to put on the components of the torque converter. So first thing you do, you're going to put on your brackets that will be used to attach the cover to the torque converter. So on the Predator motor from Harbor Freight, the bolts you need, these are a 1/2 inch 5/16 threaded bolt. So your brackets will look like this. I put the cover on just to make sure all my threaded holes line up. You have your first one here, second one here, and then your cover will go on it. First you got to put your different torque components. So I'm going to start with the gear. There's a long tapered piece and a short tapered piece. The short side is going to have the gear. You got your key. And your gear, doesn't matter which way it goes on, it's identical. Put that on, and you'll put a washer. And then the kit came with another washer. And then you'll put your nut on, or your bolt. And once you have it on, you're going to slide it in place here. This piece will only go in one way, so just slide it in until it stops. All right, once I have that in, I'm gonna put one of the washers that came with the kit on. Put that in place. You have the long key that's gonna go on as well, and the torque converter. Now this piece, you gotta have the key in. When you go to put this on, you want this middle piece to line up with the gear in front. I believe I'm going to have to put it on this way, which would be considered outboard or inboard, because the gear is on the inside, or you can flip it and make it outboard. So we're going to put it on this way. Yeah. Put another washer on, and the bolt that came in the kit. Okay, so once you're ready to put on the next piece of the torque converter, take your key out, because the pieces all come with a key in them. As you can see there's already a key. So I'm going to put it on, I'm going to line it up, put it in. Now you want to check the clearance of the bolt you put under here. If it's hitting your bolt here, you want to get a machine bushing that will go on here to space it out so it doesn't hit the bolt. In my case, it's not. So I'm just going to put it on here, and then you want to put on your brass bushing. From there, you want to put on this guy. Now this notch side, see how this side's flat, this side's notched, that goes out. This also has a key in there, so stick that on there. Then your spring piece is going to go on. It'll only go on one way. And when you go to put your belt on, before I do that, when you go to put the belt on, you'll notice if you run your fingers across the belt here, one side is flat and one side is tapered. You want the tapered end pointing out, and that'll help save your belt. I'm going to actually put that on now. And put this back on there. Oh, wrong way. Okay. And this piece, you'll notice, is that slotted piece, so it'll only fit on one way on here. Like so. See how it's only sits in there one way. And I got this. I got this little lock piece that goes in. It'll only go in one way because it also has the key. From there, you're going to put in your bolt. This is also a 5/16-24, so it's a fine thread SAE bolt. This is 1.5 inches. You could either go 1.5 inches or 2. I'm hoping 1.5 inches is long enough. And looks like it's going to have some good threads there. I put on a lock nut or a lock washer. So hopefully that'll sit in there pretty good. When you go to put your torque converter cover on, this slotted piece here is going to go on the bottom, so it'll fit just like this. All right, that wraps up the installation of the torque converter on the bike. Now I just have to put the chain on, tighten all the bolts, put the seat on, and a bunch of other stuff. So stay tuned. See you around.